evening. This is Brian Thomas Simons, and these are the main headlines of this hour. Among other news.
After making an unexpected pause last week, 346 new executive orders were released this morning in the Oval Office. Among them, 1. Secretary of State Marco Rubio will not be referred to as Secretary Little Marco or Secretary Lil Marco in official White House communications. When advised that a similar executive order had been already released in another package of executive orders 2 weeks ago, President Trump declared, "That's okay. I told Lil Marco that. But he insisted, so I am publishing it again." 2. Face of Viktor Orban will replace Theodore Roosevelt's after last month President Trump replaced George Washington's with his and Abraham Lincoln's with Vladimir Putin's. "We have seen what Viktor has done for his country and it's terrific. Its constitution is terrific. Almost as good as what Vladimir has done for the Russians. That's why I gave him Ukraine. Not like that Zelensky. That's why both of them had earned their place in Mount Rushmore. Everybody will talk about it. You will see," declared President Trump at the press conference following the announcement of the new executive orders. 3. Medicaid will be considered a DEI policy and dismantled together with the Department of Education. "We have detected the roots of DEI policies back to 1965, when Medicaid was created. And we have solid evidence that it was linked to the Watts riots of 1965 and with the assassination of Barry Goldwater in 1968, declared Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. When Washington Post White House reporter Toulouse Oloronapa corrected her that it was Martin Luther King, not Barry Goldwater, who was assassinated in 1968, ICE arrested him under the charge of being an illegal alien and so, a criminal. B. Disney's CEO Bob Iger congratulated for releasing Snow White Inclusive on the same day as Snow White live action. Snow White Inclusive will compensate for the low box office results while the live action reaches its break-even point thanks to Haldol Promotions. "For a moment, we were tempted to release the 1937 cartoon, but I am glad all ended up well in the end," declared the executive. Disney's CEO Bob Iger admitted that, yes, Rachel Zegler's Snow White, different from Snow White Inclusive, won't be profitable, but the deal with Essential Pharma to get Snow White to promote Haldol will, at the very least, reach our break-even point, including marketing costs. Pardon to Commander revoked by President Trump. Currently sought by the FBI. "We'll get him," declared FBI Director Kash Patel. State Secretary Lil Marco sent in special mission to Tonga to counter Blinken's visit to that country in 2023 and reaffirm Trump's Tonga policy. Secretary Rubio, displaying the decorations granted to him by President Trump before his special mission to the Middle East, said he was honored by the assignment. Schumer's confusion strategy, consisting of voting for the Republican budget with the goal of confusing Republicans into voting in the opposite direction, admitted it didn't bring the expected results. "It seemed the right move at the time," declared Democratic Senate Minority Leader Schumer, who last week was congratulated for preserving the long Democratic tradition of caving to Republicans and looking helpless. Arkansas man who was arrested after being found getting intimate with a stuffed animal, feels optimistic about his $20,000 goal in the GoFundMe he launched to give solace to lonely people after being released by Baxter County Judge Mark Evans, judge who, moved by the altruism of the defendant, dismissed the charges. His campaign against loneliness will be a remarkable contribution to society, declared Judge Evans.
This has been the news of this hour. Sponsored by Church of the Holy Redeemer's Power in the Spirit. Have you accepted Jesus Christ as your personal Savior? Did you vote for Trump in 2016 and then in 2020? This is the right church for you. If so, Church of the Holy Redeemer's Power in the Spirit is the only Christian church that can promise you in the Lord to have 72 virgins in heaven for only a donation of $50 a month. You will have access to those 72 virgins in heaven. For an additional $25, you will be allowed to replace 10 of them, and for $100, Heaven Premium, you will be allowed to choose them for yourself. Guaranteed, if you're not satisfied with those 72 virgins after you die, full refund of your money. We accept Visa, MasterCard, American Express, and Discover.